Good afternoon and welcome to The Rundown. I'm your host, Captivating Christian, and here are some of your top stories for today, the 5th of November. A judge rips the Postmaster General for defying orders against the ballot searches. I am not pleased about the 11th hour development last night, a federal judge said on Wednesday. The U.S. sets record for cases amidst election battle over virus. And Trump just ended HealthCare.gov in Georgia. On election eve, the Trump administration is still trying to roll back Obamacare, otherwise known as the Affordable Care Act. And in Kentucky, the Kentucky State Police training documents have urged cadets to be ruthless in their violence, quoting Hitler and Robert E. Lee. And white people in Mississippi are driving COVID numbers because they don't basically know how to follow instructions. And guess how many people actually voted for Kanye or President Kanye? Let's get to the news. A federal judge on Wednesday blasted the U.S. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy over the Postal Service failure to comply to his orders for a ballot search at over a dozen facilities, demanding that senior officials at the agency testify before the court. At a hearing, the U.S. District Court Judge Sullivan of the District of Columbia called out the United States Postal Service for refusing to comply with his court order to perform a last-minute sweeps in the light of 300,000 untraced ballots reported by the agency. Sullivan stated that DeJoy should have to testify under oath at the agency's failure to comply. He later, however, agreed to the testimony of Kevin Bray, who leads the mailing process department of the United Postal Service on Wednesday afternoon. The Postal Service disclosed on Wednesday that it had completed the sweeps late on Tuesday and turned up just 13 ballots in Pennsylvania. That announcement comes after the United Postal Service reported that more than 300,000 ballots scanned into their mailing system were never sent out for delivery, sounding alarm bells for hundreds of thousands of ballots that may have potentially missed the submission deadlines in several states. New confirmed cases of coronavirus in the United States have climbed to an all-time high of more than 86,000 per day on average, in a glimpse of the worsening crisis that lies ahead for the winter of the presidential election. Cases and hospitalizations are setting records all across the country, just as the holidays and winter approaches, demonstrating the challenges that either President Donald Trump or former Vice President Joe Biden will face in the upcoming months. Daily new confirmed coronavirus cases in the United States have surged more than 45% over the past 2 weeks to a record 7-day average of 86,352, according to the data compiled by Johns Hopkins University. Deaths are also on the rise, up 15% to an average of 846 deaths every day. The total U.S. deaths is already more than 232,000, and the total confirmed cases have surpassed 9 million. Those are the highest totals in the world, and the new infection are increasing in nearly every state. Several states on Wednesdays reported grim numbers that are fueled by the nation's trends. Texas reported 9,048 new cases and 126 deaths, and the number of coronavirus patients in Missouri, Nebraska, and Oklahoma hospitals have set records. About a third of the new cases in Texas happened in hard-hit El Paso. A top health official said the hospitals are at the breaking point. Trump's current term will end on January 20th. In the 86 days until then, 100,000 more Americans will be likely to die from the virus if the nation doesn't shift course. Dr. Robert Murphy said, who is the executive director of the Institute of Global Health of the Northwestern University. HealthCare.gov is the face of Obamacare, otherwise known as the Affordable Care Act, the online marketplace where millions of Americans sign up for health insurance. However, just 2 days before the 2020 election, the Trump administration had approved the plan to scrap the website in the swing state of Georgia. In a Sunday announcement, which was highly unusual timing, as several healthcare experts noted that the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services announced that it would approve a plan from Georgia's Governor Brian Kemp to close HealthCare.gov to his state residents. They will instead be asked to shop for health insurance through brokers and private websites. The Center on Budget Policies and Priorities laid out the ways that people could lose coverage or face higher medical costs as a result of eliminating the health care on budget policies and priorities, laid out the ways that people could lose coverage or face higher medical costs as a result of eliminating the HealthCare.gov in Georgia. Consumers may be confused about where to buy coverage after 7 years of using the federal website. Insurer brokers have incentives to steer people to non-ACA coverage that doesn't cover pre-existing conditions. Many private insurance exchanges sell non-compliant coverage alongside ACA plans. A training program for Kentucky State Police quoted Adolf Hitler and the Nazis not once, not twice, but 3 times. A student newspaper in Louisville recently reported. The Manual Red Eye, the student newspaper at DuPont Manual High School in Louisville, broke the story after being given a copy of a 33-page slideshow using to train police cadets by a local attorney who received the material from KSP after requesting materials used to train a detective who shot and killed a man in Harlan County. State police confirmed the validity of the training material with the Kentucky representative, saying that he was angry and embarrassed that the slideshow, which contained direct quotes from Hitler and the Confederate General Robert E. Lee, as well as encouraging cadets to be ruthless in their violence. The most attention-grabbing slide had been one advising cadets on violence of action. with an image of a bald eagle and an American flag in the background. The slide advised trainees to meet violence with greater violence. The Kentucky State Police should be able to exhibit ruthlessness and controlled aggression without anger. And slide notes: be the loving father, spouse, and friend, as well as ruthless killer. It emphasized in red text. Beneath the advice are two quotes, one attributed to Albert Einstein, a German Jew, it must be noted, and Adolf Hitler. The world is a dangerous place, not because of those who do evil, but because of those who look on and do nothing. Reads the quote, likely incorrect, attributed to Einstein. This immediately followed by a sentence lifted out of Adolf Hitler's memoirs, Mein Kampf. The very first essential for success is perpetually constant and regular employment of violence, reads the quote. Where else Adolf Hitler is quoted again, this time with a quote, "It is always more difficult to fight against faith than against knowledge," along with a slide that simply reads, a phrase widely associated with Nazis that means above all else. Washington Post reported. The slides lean heavily into warrior, which has been heavily criticized by social justice and legal advocates and just some public officials who say that such a mindset encourages officers to use extreme force and abuse of power. While medical professionals have repeatedly said that simple tasks such as social distancing, wearing a face mask, and washing your hands could be instrumental in slowing down the spread of COVID-19, white folks nationwide simply aren't trying to hear that. Which sucks because their inability to just listen has resulted in the rise of the cases of COVID-19 in Mississippi. According to CNN, COVID-19 has disproportionately affected Mississippi white population in both September and October. This is a drastic shift from the early months of the virus, where black people made up the majority of cases in the state. In September, white people contracted COVID-19 at a higher rate than black people for the first time since June. Then, the states first began reporting cases by racial demographic. In October, the makeup of new cases began to further reflect the makeup of the state's population. 59.1% of whites and 37.8% of blacks. The state health official told CNN that during the first 2 weeks of October, white people made up about 60% of new cases and deaths in the state. This is a complete reverse from the initial months of the pandemic, where black people made up the same percentage of cases and deaths in the state. Hey, this is Captivating Christian here to remind you to tune in to Politics and Wellness every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Politics and Wellness every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. And be sure to join Jay Wilson, Rebel Son, The official campaign, Conscious TV and Captivating Christian, this and every Thursday at 6:45 Central Standard Time, 7:45 Eastern Standard Time for the Gentleman's Panel, where we are not afraid to go there and discuss an array of topics. See you there. Amidst all of the confusion and chaos of this post-election comes with a few developments from the decidedly dead Kanye 2020 campaign. West, who was running as an independent, trailed around 60,000 votes across the 12 states in which he actually appeared on the ballot, with his highest count in Tennessee, where he got 10,188 votes and a percentage of 0.3% of the total vote. He achieved his highest percentage of votes, which was 0.4, in 3 states. Idaho, where he got 3,631 votes, Utah, where he received 4,344 votes, and Oklahoma, where he received 5,590 votes and failed to reach over the 0.4% of the vote in any state. West appeared to admit defeat late Tuesday night with a tweet of "Welp." He sadly later deleted that tweet and then reposted it with Kanye 2024. Once again, thank you for watching CCN Midday News. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also hit that notification button so you will never miss another news update. Have a great day. Peace.